I don't know if the referees could have prevented this Sophie Cunningham injury. I'm going to be honest with that. I don't know if the referees could have done it. I don't know if it was intentional from Bria Hartley. I think if it was anyone other than Bria Hartley or Marina Mabry on the Sun team, everyone would have just said, no, it's not intentional, it was completely...
The WNBA is facing a serious problem, and it's not just the empty seats or the lackluster TV ratings. The real issue is that referees in the league are failing to take accountability for the growing injury epidemic affecting not only the Indiana Fever, but every team across the WNBA. Now, Sophie Cunningham's family has had enough.
Right here, we got Sophie's sister, Lindsay, and her mom, Paula. At WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game, protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, officially, my two favorite players in this league that I really love to, particularly love to pull for, they're both out now. And it did not look...
Sophie Cunningham's injury isn't just another unfortunate accident, it's the inevitable consequence of a system where officials call phantom fouls, yet turn a blind eye when real danger unfolds right in front of them.
There are players that cannot be replaced, and there are an abundance of players that no one gives a shit about. If you're the WNBA, common sense would dictate that you do everything in your power to protect your star players. You do everything you can to protect your assets. But for some reason, this dump of a league seems to protect anonymous faces over the pretty faces. They protect the players who are injuring the players that people are paying to.
Sophie Cunningham is not an injury-prone player. She has been a warrior throughout her career, consistently showing up and performing at the highest level. Yet, in the same season where Caitlin Clark has battled multiple injuries and the Indiana Fever has been forced to bring in several new players just to field a team, Sophie is now sidelined as well. This isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern, and a dangerous one.
Dirty, dirty Bria, of course, it had to be ya. Dirty, dirty Bria, I would really hate to see ya in a dark alley. Dirty Bria Hartley back at it again with her shenanigans, and this time around she had her eyes set on one Sophie the Trophy Cunningham. Sophie, get well soon. Hopefully the MRI later today shows nothing too serious. Would love to see you back on the court. Bria Hartley dives for Sophie Cunningham's knees, doesn't even try to avoid the collision, doesn't try to move out the way. Bria Hartley sees Sophie's legs and says, that's the direction I'm going to fall in.
And let's be crystal clear, the Cunningham family isn't holding back anymore. They've called out this nonsense for exactly what it is. A league that prioritizes punishing players for speaking truth to power instead of protecting the athletes who put their bodies on the line every single night.
And boy, did it show up again today. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, and hit that bell notification. Listen, Sophie Cunningham was targeted, y'all. I'm telling you right now, Sophie Cunningham was targeted by Bria Hartley, and it just is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want to sit here and play games and act like, you know, she wasn't. She was targeted by Bria Hartley, and that's just the fact of the matter. And people can act like it's not all they want. I told you guys this girl was a dirty player, and that's all she did today was show how dirty.
Sophie's sister, Lindsay, went nuclear on social media, blasting the WNBA with surgical precision. Maybe, instead of fining players for criticizing poor officiating, the league should focus on hiring officials capable of calling a consistent game and protecting its athletes. Absolutely pathetic.
When it comes to Bria Hartley, I don't know if the intent is there, but she's completely reckless. Like, there are some players you can tell the intent is there when they have to go out of their way to, like, I think when it comes to Alyssa Thomas, you can tell when she hits someone hard that the intent is there. You can tell that she wants to hurt someone, or maybe not hurt somebody, but she wants to rough them up. With Bria Hartley, I don't know. She might just be completely out of control. So that's something like completely reckless is fine. And then Sophie Cunningham's sister. Maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, so Fowler.
If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. What happened on Sunday against the Connecticut Sun was devastating to watch. Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever's enforcer and one of the few players consistently showing heart on that roster, was defending the baseline when Connecticut guard Bria Hartley barreled toward the basket. Hartley lost control shocking, I know, and crashed directly into Cunningham's right knee like a freight train with failing brakes. Cunningham immediately collapsed to the floor, clutching her knee in visible agony, tears streaming down her face as Fever staff rushed to her aid.
You can literally hear her screaming in pain. It's so heartbreaking. Indiana Fever star guard Sophie Cunningham, the enforcer, had a lower leg injury today against the Connecticut Suns. It happened on this play. She's helping on defense, steps up, gets her legs tangled, goes down, ruled out for the game. The severity of the injury is right now unknown, but she had to be helped off the court.
The collision wasn't just a split-second basketball play gone wrong. It was Bria Hartley doing what she's become known for, playing out of control and leaving destruction in her wake. Sophie's mother, Paula Cunningham, didn't mince words, describing Hartley as a disgruntled player who causes trouble everywhere she goes. She's plain mean and plays out of control, Paula said. And honestly, the receipts are stacking up. Hartley has been involved in multiple scuffles this season, consistently playing with a reckless abandon that could make an insurance company nervous.
And Sophie's mother, Paula, Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's plain mean and plays out of control. So, what can you say? I do not blame Sophie's mother and sister for being upset. Marina Mabrey went nuts in this game, scored 27 points.
Sophie's mother, Paula, didn't hold back, calling Bria Hartley a disgruntled player who causes trouble everywhere she goes. She's mean and plays out of control, Paula said, and honestly, who can blame Sophie's family for being upset? Marina Mabrey went off in this game, dropping 27 points. But the bigger story is how this incident turned from an unfortunate injury into a full-scale family revolt against the WNBA establishment. The Cunninghams are done staying quiet. They've made it clear they've reached their breaking point with how the league is handling player safety. They're not blaming Sophie, and why would they? She's practically bulletproof when it comes to injuries, having built her entire career on toughness and reliability. But in the same season where Caitlin Clark has been injured more than a crash test dummy, and the Indiana Fever has been forced to bring in replacement players just to field a roster, now Sophie goes down too. The timing would almost be comedic if it weren't so tragic. Clark has already missed 19 of 32 games this season with groin and quad injuries. The Fever have also lost guards Ari McDonald and Sydney Colson to season-ending injuries. And now Sophie, the one consistent presence holding this injury-ravaged roster together, gets knocked out by yet another reckless collision the referees somehow failed to see coming.
I don't know how the Indiana Fever can continue to survive these things. Here you see Sophie Cunningham laid out on the floor, holding her knee. The lady was in tears, crying as Lexi Hull approached her to help her through this situation. I don't know if it's her knee. I don't know if it's her Achilles, the way she was kind of dragging her foot. I don't know. But Bria Hartley has had dirty plays all season. You got to know who we're talking about. Bria Hartley is the same girl. Bria Hartley is the same woman that pulled Angel Reese out of there by her ponytail.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The WNBA has an injury epidemic that would make a medieval battlefield surgeon blush. Lucas Schaefer, who completed a PhD study on WNBA epidemiology, has already documented 77 injuries in the 2025 season alone, 20 of them near-related. To put that in perspective, the league is on pace to shatter the 203 total injuries recorded in 2024, and we're not even close to the playoffs yet. And how has the WNBA responded to this carnage? By fining Sophie Cunningham. She was docked $500 for a TikTok video calling out referee incompetence and hit with another $1,500 fine for questioning officiating standards on her podcast. The league's message is clear: shut up, play hurt, and don't you dare point out that the so-called emperors of officiating have no clothes. Cunningham's injury perfectly encapsulates everything wrong with the league's current trajectory. She's been averaging nearly 26 minutes per game, contributing 89 points and 36 rebounds while serving as the Fever's emotional backbone. She's the kind of player fans actually connect with, not the Instagram influencer wannabes or the ones treating the court like a runway, but someone who genuinely lives and breathes basketball. Her absence forces Indiana to dig even deeper into an already decimated rotation. The Fever are barely holding on to a playoff spot at 19-17. But with Clark still sidelined and Cunningham now questionable for their crucial matchup against Minnesota, their postseason hopes are hanging by a thread.
This is a play where Sophie Cunningham is dribbling toward the baseline. As you can see, she catches the ball on the wing, dribbles down, and then JC Sheldon kind of body checks her out of bounds, but the referee didn't call a foul there. He just called it an out of bounds, like Sophie Cunningham ran out of bounds is what he called. So you watch her here, dribbles, pushed out of bounds. Sophie's like, oh, of course, it's going to be a foul. No, it wasn't. That wasn't a foul. This one, she actually quote tweeted herself. As you can see, she's running up and then Hartley kind of elbows her in the neck and Sophie falls to the ground. Now she reposted this and she said, they said I flopped, LOL. So I guess the referees told her that she flopped on that play, or the players, who knows. Somebody told her that she flopped on that play. This is Aaliyah Boston and Tina Charles, and they are battling in the post. And then you can...
Here's the most infuriating part. While players are being demolished on the court, WNBA referees operate with complete impunity. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert claims to value feedback and insists the league dedicates countless hours to reviewing officiating, but the proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the ever-growing injury list. What the WNBA has really built is a protection racket for officials, where any criticism results in immediate financial punishment for players. Sophie Cunningham summed up the absurdity perfectly. Fining me $500 isn't going to change anything. And she's absolutely right. The league would rather silence dissent than confront the fundamental issue of inconsistent, dangerous officiating that has turned games into an injury lottery.
WNBA has an issue with dirty play in this league. Dirty play skill masked as dirty play. It's disgusting. Bria Hartley doesn't even deserve to be on a roster in this league. Sophie Cunningham's family saying, what's going on here? You guys are calling out Sophie Cunningham, finding Sophie Cunningham for calling out the officiating. Meanwhile, you're letting players just take dives at each other's. Again, Bria Hartley deserves zero benefit of the doubt in this instance.
The fan response to Cunningham's injury says everything about where this league is headed. One supporter summed it up perfectly. Yeah, I'm out. No reason left to watch this team anymore. Terrible basketball. Healing thoughts to Sophie, she's the only one who seemed to play with any heart. When your most passionate fans are walking away because they can't bear to watch their favorite players get systematically destroyed by preventable injuries, you've completely lost the plot. Even more telling is the online petition demanding accountability in WNBA officiating, which has been gaining momentum as fans recognize the undeniable link between poor officiating and player safety. The petition calls for clearer foul calling standards, enhanced referee training, and stricter enforcement of player safety rules. In other words, the bare minimum that should already be in place.
Indiana Fever, because Sophie Cunningham has been somebody, she has been the glue of this team since Caitlin has been out. She is playing so incredibly well during the second half of this season. She plays hard every single night. She's super tough. She doesn't make excuses. Like, she is somebody who has really held this team together, and seeing her go down in the first half, like, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what it was at first when I saw her went down. So let's break down the done. Like, they just can't get out of it. The morale of the team is done. Seeing Sophie go down, like, maybe this team just doesn't have any fight left in them. And I was actually ready to give them a pass as well. I was like, you know what? It's been a hard season. And at some point you might just have to throw in the towel and be like, you know what? We will get after it next season. It is what it is.
The Cunningham family's final warning should send chills down every WNBA executive's spine. If this continues, players will simply stop playing. The league isn't putting athletes first, it's allowing them to get injured without meaningful statements, reforms, or accountability. It's a joke, and it stopped being funny a long time ago. Sophie Cunningham was supposed to be the reliable constant, the player who could weather any storm while teammates battled injuries. But when even your most durable players can't stay healthy because of preventable collisions and reckless play, you've created an unsustainable environment. The WNBA is literally watching its talent pool get depleted by its own negligence. Sunday should have been a celebration. The Indiana Fever actually won the Commissioner's Cup without Caitlin Clark, proving they had the talent and depth to compete at the highest level. But instead of celebrating, fans are watching this roster get systematically dismantled by an injury epidemic the league refuses to address. Meanwhile, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert continues her PR tour, talking about growth and expansion while ignoring the fundamental safety issues that threaten the league's very foundation. The WNBA plans to expand to 18 teams by 2030, but what's the point if it can't even keep its current players healthy enough to take the floor?
On the officiating, we hear the concerns, we take that input. Every play is reviewed, spend hours and hours and hours. Obviously, we use that then to follow up with officials, training. Consistency is important, I think. I think some people who observe our game versus other basketball formats are that there aren't a ton of fouls called, but I realize consistency is the name of the game. So I think it's something we definitely look at and evaluate, and there's an independent evaluation of our officials. There are ramifications. It's something we need to continue to work.
Sophie Cunningham's injury isn't just another unfortunate sports moment, it's a symbol of everything the WNBA is getting wrong. When families have to threaten lawsuits just to secure basic player safety. When officials operate without accountability while players are fined for speaking the truth. When injury rates skyrocket while leadership prioritizes expansion over protection. That's not progress, it's a system destined to fail. The Cunningham family's threat to sue the WNBA isn't just about one player's injury, it's about forcing a reckoning with a league that has lost its way. Sophie Cunningham deserved better than being taken out by yet another reckless collision. Fans deserve better than watching their favorite players become casualties of institutional negligence. And the league itself deserves better than leadership that has turned player safety into an afterthought while chasing profit and optics. Now the ball is literally in the WNBA's court. The league can either continue down this path of willful ignorance and watch its talent pool evaporate, or it can finally confront the accountability crisis threatening to destroy everything it has built. The Cunningham family has drawn their line in the sand. The only question is whether the WNBA has the courage to step up and do what's right, or if it will keep fiddling while basketball